Alright, what's up? This is Char. I'm bringing you the big boy, here's the biggie, block string compendium. This is the full guide on everything I know about Vegito block strings, including some experimental stuff that I'll be covering later, just kind of like, okay, here's how I lab my block strings, stuff like that. So, the first thing that we're going to be talking about is our normals. We're going to be talking about what's safe, what is a reset point, where it can be staggered, which is usually going to be everywhere, and what can we do with these staggers, what mix-ups can we threaten, and what makes them hold, and what lets us reset. So, the very first, most important thing is your 5L. Your 5L is your best button. It really just defines the character, and his 5LL complements it perfectly. So, if we go to the spacing where we're at max tip 5L, which you can automatically always reach by doing 2L 5S. Not bad. This is tip. It will always push back to that exact distance. Now, if you have a little bit of distance to travel and they can be pushed back, if you do 2M 5S, it'll actually put you at max walk-in, because you can see it moves him forward. See how the last hit actually makes contact. And these are like little tricks you can do in training mode to test how do I perform at these spacings, who can contest what's their options, how to react to them breaking normal par of pressing a button. One thing to note though is you can outrange most jabs simply by 2L. When we take over cell, he can't hit you. So this is actually where you'll get the most mileage. See, can he hit me here? Can he hit me here? But he thinks he can. Here, he'll probably hit me. Cool, he can barely hit me. But he thinks he can hit me here. If I go to 2L range, he might think he can hit me. Especially if I walk forward slightly. And that's how you trap people. You shimmy. 2L, slight shimmy forward, that's going to trap a lot of people. Really well, to be honest. So that's really strong. But if you go to your max range, no one can test you here. But Cell doesn't remotely think he can contest you. Why would he press a button unless he's stupid? So what's important to note is that when a character has a button where you can just make them whiff, you only want to just make them whiff. Bardock, walk up here, he can probably thinks he can hit you. Well, he's wrong. Here, he'll hit you. But here, nah. So if you do against Cell, that's quite nice, especially because that reverse beats, so that can frame trap. Walk forward like that, it's gonna hit him because he thinks he can jab. Where Bardock, it's probably gonna hit him if you walk forward there. So that's 5L spacing, kind of like what's the plan. And I'll go into literally everything on spacing in a little bit. But the next thing we want to talk about is 5L and 5LL. It's pretty much going to hit any time 5L hits because it leans forward a little bit. It's a perfectly complementary normal. It complements your game plan exactly how you want. And it's also -5. So here's two normals that are -5. Very, very strong toolkit. Third normal that's -5 is 5M. And often you're going to end strings in 5M because they get you just a little closer and you get that cross up. So if I were to simply just do like a da-da-da-da-da, let's try that a little again. If I were to delay, that's quite nice. We got mix-up options. So 5M is going to be probably your ID setup. In Sparking, the world changes. We will go into that later. But 5M is quite good. 2L also is -5. So you have 4 normals that are -5 and all threaten mix differently. 5S is -4, and it's good to end in this if you want to get your spacing, like just straight up, this will put you, that'll be tip. You're pretty much, you can be a tip, you're fine. 5S has some good pushback. And the best part is if you're restarting your stagger that way, and you want to shimmy back and forth a little, because you really are at advantage when you know what characters can reach, because you can shimmy in and out of their range, and then whiff punish them gloriously. And there's no better feeling than punishing someone who thought they could jab against Vegito. So you don't just want to like mindlessly set the spacing up and go, because they're going to jump. You want to do a little bit of shimmy and play some footsies. And because you can play footsies and stagger frame traps all on these different points, like I could do this and then jump out of your range a second. You do this. That was a frame trap. So now you're a little afraid to contest. You give me the time to walk in and out, and I'm just pressuring you by existing. It's very, very powerful, especially when you have the knowledge of who has what jab. But 5S. 5S is very good not only for creating that spacing, you can shimmy back and forth in, but 5S is also reflectable after. It cancel into reflect, and also super dashable. But if they reflect and you just are shimmying, they're gonna die. They're gonna die. Like, absolutely, completely die. Or you can just 5L them again. Just like, you don't have to kill them, just punish them. Very basic punish. 5L is usually going to just reach, so you don't have to worry about committing super hard to this 15 frame startup 2M. Also, if they were to try to super dash cancel, and you're watching, you just do this. Whoops. There we go, I did delay a bit. Quite nice. Let's also talk about 2-6L. Now, some of the most common strings you'll see with Vegito's online, which I think are wrong, by the way. They do like this, ID boom, boom, or you can go, oh, the ID kind of looks like I'm going up, so I'm going up, oh, I got the 2M, and like, yeah, okay, cool, that's fine. But, let's go back to guard canceling. I'm pretty much a sitting duck here. If I have 3 bars, I can do that, but that's literally it. So, I would recommend against using 2-6L because it's guard cancelable, and it doesn't threaten anything after it. It says, my string is done, I'm calling an assist, guard cancel me. And, I mean, hey, if you have the level 3, you can punish them pretty hard for it, especially if you're baiting. But, for the most part, I think 2-6L is useless as a string. It's amazing for neutral. Like, I love it as neutral. Really great. But, if you end on 5L, 5LL, 2L, or 5M or 5S, you can be immune to guard cancel utterly and completely for no bar requirement. 2M, if they guard cancel off that, and 5L both require you to be able to barrier on reaction. So if I do 5L, and then I go into a string, so let's actually for real do this. My yips! Oh my god, my game is lagging! Whoopsies. Man. There we go. Oh, okay, right. I'm being silly. So the best thing I actually would get would just... You don't get a huge conversion off barrier, but... It's a little tricky to get that. Probably like a dash up 2S, but anyway, I'm not trying to show conversions here. 5L converts into barrier because you cannot block in time. There's too much active frames. But because you can convert it to barrier, you get 3k off it. So it's pretty fine. It also should build decent bar. See if I was at half a bar. Let's see if we can get 21 C assist to be better. And oh look, I got 21 Oki, or Trunks Oki, so like that's pretty solid. You get about half a bar to a bar off the conversion, which honestly can be very, very good. And if you route cleverly enough, you could probably get yourself a sighting knockdown same side. Anyway, when it comes to 2L though, oh, interesting. So that's going to be a barrier as well. But 5LL, let me see if I can just get here. That's a 2M punish. 5S, that's a 2M punish. So you also can do a 2H punish off of 5S. So, oh, let's also do 5M. Easy. So if they guard cancel on any of those, like, significant reset points, then you can pretty much always either block or barrier. And that makes you utterly immune to guard cancel. So they have to hold your pressure, hold your resets, hold your mix, hold your staggers, hold your shimmies, all of that they have to hold because you're not using this button. So that's why I advise against 2Q6L most of the time. I would only use True-Q6L if they have 0 bar, or if you're explicitly baiting this. Because otherwise, it's just too committal. Anyway, that would be our normals. Just for further data, 5H you never want to end on, 2M dear God never want to end on, and that's all of its normals. There's nothing else to worry about. It's just 2M and 5H you just don't want to end on because they're way too minus, and they keep you close enough to where you can be punished.